Buenos días. Primero que todo, muchas gracias a la Universidad de Ibagué, a su rector, que siempre ha apoyado irrestrictamente eventos de esta naturaleza y sin cuyo apoyo no hubiéramos podido realizar este evento. Gracias a todos los que aceptaron la invitación a participar, tanto de nuestro grupo, de nuestra universidad, como en todas las redes en que se mueve este movimiento de pensamiento sistémico alrededor del mundo. Varios de ustedes, tenemos cuántos en este momento participando, ¿me pueden decir? Unos fuera, ¿me pueden decir cuántos tenemos? 19, esos 19 participantes, muchísimas gracias por estar presentes con nosotros. Como es un evento bilingüe, voy a hacer la introducción en inglés para que llegue también más allá de las fronteras nuestras a países donde, por ejemplo, como el caso de Rahab, son de habla inglesa. I must start by thanking all of you, present and virtual, who have honored us by accepting to participate in this international encounter, Art Systems Thinking. As Raghav put it in one email that he sent me on Monday, with this encounter, we are clearly stimulating a very important and timely conversation. It's good, said Raghav, to be a part of this conversation. That is the way I feel too, and hope that by the end of this encounter on Friday morning, you will also agree with Rahab. Now, the question guiding this encounter is this one. Are we witnessing the emergence of a fourth wave of systems thinking? Let me do a little bit of explaining and why art comes into the picture of this question. In the last 20 years, the interaction between art and systems thinking has been increasing. Both a variety of publications on this subject and an increase in research centers and institutes with a focus on this interaction attest to the growing interest that the relationship between art and systems thinking is awakening. At the University of Ibagué, the research group MISCO and the design program of the Faculty of Humanities, Arts and Sciences, Social Sciences have started theoretical explorations and community-based research using a systems approach that incorporates art to enrich the understanding of complex problem situations. This is how we are witnessing firsthand the great potential of this interaction for the understanding, comprehension, and transformation of complex social systems. Furthermore, underlying these developments, various system thinkers and researchers are reporting symptoms of what might be the emergence of a fourth wave of systems thinking. The first wave was characterized by the emergence of so-called hard systems thinking, that is thinking underpinned by a mechanistic organismic onto-epistemological paradigm. In this wave, systems are considered real-world entities, which can be represented as sets of interconnected parts with inputs, outputs, and feedback loops to regulate their function. Representative systems methodologies used in this wave by system thinkers to study complex phenomena are Jenkins systems analysis and Forrester systems dynamics. The second wave was founded on an interpretive onto-epistemological paradigm which acknowledges the need to consider the observer's subjective experience in the constitution of the observed. Consequently, the boundaries of what is to be considered a system, that is a set of interconnected parts, etc., depend on the perspectives of the observer, quote systems thinkers. Approaches to studying complex phenomena systems in this wave, this second wave, are Churchman systems approach, Checkland's soft systems thinking, ACO's interactive planning, and among others. In this way, different models of notional systems are used as conceptual tools to understand and make sense of the complex phenomena we observe in the real world. Models in this way are not meant to be perfect representations of reality, but are systems constructs to facilitate dialogue and debate among stakeholders. Examples are Checkland's HAS, that is Human Activity Systems model, Beard's Viable System model, among other examples. As to the emergence of the third wave, which gave rise to a holistic phenomenological system thinking, this wave was based on a hermeneutic phenomenological onto-epistemology. Here, the notion of a system undergoes a radical change. Systems are considered unit wholes, system wholes, holons, defined as essential recursive distinction is in units called distinctions. Accordingly, gaining valid knowledge of holons required not to decompose them in parts relationships, but to explore discursively their unitary being. An example of this third wave system thinking is interpretive systemology. IS is an interpretive phenomenological theory of systems created by Fuenmayor and Lopez Garay, among others, in the 90s. The epistemological foundation of this theory gives rise to a discursive exploration of holons characterized by the modeling of various contexts of meaning, by explicitly interpreting the phenomenon and studying such contexts of meaning, and by discussing the various interpretations under the light of their respective contexts of meaning. Now, let me go back to our leading question. Is the growing interaction between art and system thinking opening the way to the emergence of a fourth wave of system thinking? Underlying this question is a deeper one. Which are the contradictions incubated within the third wave that are creating the historical conditions for what in Kuhn's terminology we might call a paradigmatic change in system thinking? Raghav, we have the honor to have him with us today, and Nijli give us a clue for this question. They claim that the promise of a systems approach has not been fulfilled. We recall that this promise was stated as follows, quote, "The reductionist approach in traditional science stops us from seeing the wood from the trees, while a systems perspective brings the wood back into the focus." However, systemic interventions have been characterized mainly by the deployment of formal, even reflective thinking and dialogue methods inadequate on their own for the task of comprehending larger wholes and appreciating others' viewpoints. Yet, there is another type of knowing that respects the integrity of the whole. It's called presentational knowing. I'm quoting Rahaf and Mittley. Presentational knowing emerges from and is grounded in experiential knowing. It clothes our experiential knowing of the world in the metaphors of aesthetic creation, in expressive spatio-temporal forms of imagery. These forms symbolize both our felt attunement with the world and the primary meaning embedded in our enactment of its appearing. In this sense, we ask whether the art could serve as a training camp to train systems thinkers in the art of attunement, something essential to what really establish a holistic relationship with what is brought to presence by distinction. These and other questions I am sure will arise in our international encounter. At the end of these 2 wonderful days of thinking, reflecting, and sharing, before we come back to our academic communities, we will ponder on Friday morning whether we are witnessing the emergence of a fourth wave of systems thinking. Welcome to this encounter, and let us start our important and timely conversation on art and system thinking. Thank you.